Hey everybody, Rykard here again with my next SO Pokemon set. Today we're going to be talking about Blastoise, and this will be the second part of my three-part series featuring Kanto starter Pokemon. So, after doing my Venusaur one, I decided that I needed to continue a trend involving bulky starter Pokemon, and so that's why this set will be featuring a very defensive Blastoise. So let's take a look. First off, you will notice that he is an adamant nature, which means that he has increased attack and decreased special attack. I chose this as opposed to a nature that would raise one of the two defenses because Blastoise's attack really isn't that good. And he doesn't have any attack increasing moves that he can use really. And so I decided that to make him strong was more important than making him super defensive because he's already pretty defensive as it is. Especially when you take into account the 252 HP EVs and the 128 special defense EVs. Now, there are EVs and special defense here because when you look at his moveset, Iron Defense is one of the moves he will be using to increase his regular defense. And so you will need some special defense at the same time to be able to take special hits while also making your regular defense skyrocket because of the ×2 boost you get each time you use an Iron Defense, or ×3 or ×4, depending on how many you use. So there's also 128 EVs into attack, so that you will also be stronger in that, along with the adamant nature. Now you might be wondering why I chose attack as opposed to special attack. Well, the reason being is that you really don't see physical Blastoises as opposed to special ones because his special attack stat as its base value is actually higher than its attack stat. However, I decided that I would dig into his physical move pool because there's usually a lot more options, and they're also moves that I just like better, which are Aqua Tail and Earthquake, as you can see now. And Aqua Tail is basically the physical version of Surf, except it's a little bit less little less powerful, and it is not as accurate. It has 90% accuracy as opposed to the 100% accuracy Surf has. Now for Earthquake, the reason for that is because of type coverage, and by that I mean if you're playing against a team that has an electric type, like they've already revealed the electric type to you, and then you switch your Blastoise in at another point in the game, you can predict a switch into the electric type and Earthquake it, because obviously electric is good against water, so you can catch your opponent off guard a lot, unless it's like a Rotom which has Levitate, but that's annoying. But other than that, it can be a pretty surprising move, especially when an opponent is trying to switch in to gain an advantage. It also is good against steel types and poison and fire and all that jazz. So ground moves actually have a lot of things they're super effective against, which is awesome. So Earthquake is a must in this situation for having a physical Blastoise. As for the item, Leftovers is kind of the obvious choice when you're trying to go with a defensive set, because it'll be gaining HP or recovering HP back every turn. Now, as for the non-attacking moves, Iron Defense, as I said before, is used to make your defense skyrocket and make Blastoise a defensive wall, essentially, because I believe after one Iron Defense, you're running with around like 450 defense, which is a ridiculous amount, and not a lot of things will be able to get through that, especially if you get more than one Iron Defense up. so that'll make him a very good physical wall. Now for Mirror Coat, the reasoning behind that is kind of as a surprise when opponents see that you are increasing your regular defense. So they'll be thinking, okay, I'll have to probably hit him with a special move now to do more damage. However, when they do that and you can predict it right, a Mirror Coat will probably come as a surprise and could potentially KO them depending on how much damage it does. And that's also another reason why I didn't go with a defensive nature and put more EVs into special defense, because if you did that, then you would be losing less HP off of a special attack, and therefore you wouldn't have as powerful a Mirror Coat as you could. So with this set, you get a physical Blastoise with ridiculous defense and a move that will discourage your opponent from using special moves because they can easily just die if you predict right and get a Mirror Coat. So it puts your opponent in like a very confusing situation, because if they can't hurt you physically, and by trying to hurt you specially they'll lose their Pokemon in the process, you pretty much have an advantage over a lot of players if they don't have something like along the lines of Toxic, or something that will maybe like one-hit KO Blastoise to that extent without taking an Earthquake or an Aqua Tail in the face. So, well, I guess you would take an Earthquake in your legs, but that's being too literal. Anyways, so with this set you get a pretty awesome Blastoise because he is an awesome Pokemon, and I really don't know any other Pokemon that packs Hydro Cannons in its shell, so that gives him coolness points right there. But I hope you guys tried the set out and enjoyed this video, because I personally find the set to be fun, as I've said in a lot of my other videos, but I guess being original is always fun. And so let me know what you guys think of this, and let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and even give feedback on Pokemon you want to see me do next. See ya!